Rob Jameson says he can't attend. He's just swamped with things going on. So I'm going to call him after the meeting to let him know anything that he needs to know. Well, it's 8:30. I'll start taking notes and then I can fill Greta in when she gets here.
Okay, and we're recording and actually, hold on one sec. All right, now we're recording, so you can start the meeting whenever you'd like.
Okay, so is Greta here? Oh, you're here.
Oh, okay.
Greta, are you here?
I see her. She joins as a, okay, we have her in now.
Okay, great. All right, so I'd
Okay.
like to call,
Here.
there you are.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The first item is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. So could I hear someone make a move that we approve those minutes?
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay, I'll second. Whatever. The first and most important thing is to review the park use application form. And Nancy, Christie was saying that she's got her form online, but she hasn't made any changes to it. So I thought maybe if you could go first and say whatever changes you wanted to put into it, that would be a start.
Well, I sent her some changes.
Yeah,
I can display those right now. Just give me a moment.
okay.
Sorry, some logistical. Can you see the form on
Yeah.
screen?
Mhm.
Okay, super. So I'll let Nancy speak to this. This is her form. This is the form I received from Nancy with.
It just, yeah, all I did was edit it and simplify it.
Yep.
And take out some of the stuff in the other form that was a little over the top.
Yep.
So that's all this is. It's really not anything. It's basically the same form with things deleted from it. But I don't claim that this is any official form. You know, it's really something that council is supposed to review.
Right. Are these the changes you're proposing to make final though?
At least for now, yeah.
Okay, sure. Just to simplify it. That makes total sense.
Right.
So pretty much it's very similar. It's just a little simplified. So
Mhm. So the one question we had from the last discussion was there had been a separate application for weddings. And then Krista, you and I talked about maybe making this so that they don't have to fill out every last little thing when, you know, like they don't have to do a deposit or things like that, right?
Well, I don't think we should have a separate form for weddings.
I'm not saying we should, but we could just put, you know, those in a different color for the ones that have to be filled out for weddings. Same form, just.
Why would we make them different? I don't see the point of making them different.
I'm not saying to make it different. I'm saying use the same form, but they shouldn't have to fill out all the details because some don't pertain to them.
Well, some don't pertain to a lot of organizations that apply for stuff. I mean, I tried to eliminate most of what, you know, make it more general.
Mhm.
So are we saying for a wedding, we would expect someone to submit a certificate of insurance and a $500 deposit?
I don't know. Why is a wedding different from a group of 25 people getting together to sing? I mean, I don't see the difference. I don't know that everybody needs $100 worth of insurance, depending on the size of the group, what they need. We certainly don't collect a $500 deposit from everybody who uses the park. So I don't know how you make a rule to eliminate some groups and not others, and have that rule be even-handed across the board. That's my concern with all of these rules is having the same thing apply to everybody, so that there's not any kind of issues, legal issues about, why do I have to do this when this other group didn't have to do it?
So then you're saying we would have to have certificates of insurance and the $500 deposit for every event.
Theoretically, yeah. If you're going to do it, yeah, theoretically.
So Christy, how have we done that in the past with weddings, for example?
In the past, the wedding form was essentially my understanding.
Mhm.
Again, my short time here, but my understanding was that the wedding form, the separate wedding form, was essentially a courtesy to the village saying that there's a group of people that are going to be in town, taking pictures and things like that, so that if some other wedding party called and asked the same thing, as a courtesy, we would just track those dates and let them know.
Mhm.
And not that they weren't reserving any space, that just, it was an opportunity as well for us to explain to them that they can't block the walkways, they can't occupy a space and block off public, that wherever they are, it's a public space and everyone has access to it. So it was an opportunity to explain those things to them as well. And we did not require any money or any insurance or any of the accessory things as well.
Mhm. So could we just do the same thing? I mean, sort of unofficially not require those things?
I don't think that's a question for me, right? It's a question for the board.
What does anybody else think?
I don't think it's a question for us. I don't see why a wedding is any different from some other group of 20 people. Just because you label it a wedding, why is it different from some other group of 20 people who come in and want to take pictures or sing or do something else? How is it different?
Well, I think if they're not reserving any space, technically different from a singing group, then it is different. And maybe they shouldn't have to go through the village at all, right? Because it was just a courtesy before, and they're just gathering and they're not reserving. They're not asking and saying like, no one else can be here while we do this, because we don't allow that to happen. Is that true, that they're not really reserving a spot at all?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you see wedding parties, they've already had the wedding somewhere else. They're just coming to take pictures.
I feel certainly that I've seen weddings in town that I have no idea are occurring. So I think the general rule is likely that they don't inform us anyway. They just show up and do it because it's
Right.
it's public. We can't stop them.
So is this a non-issue then?
I think so. Yeah. I think not even put it on there, not even if wedding people call. I mean, I guess wouldn't we just say, well, we can't really reserve a space for you. Thank you for letting us know. There could be other groups gathering at that time.
That's
yeah.
the talk track currently.
Yeah. So
And that's true of anybody, any group coming in.
Okay, well, we need to make a decision about this form. Christy, are you comfortable with this?
Yes.
Okay, I like the idea that it's online. I think it makes it so much easier for everybody involved.
And do you want to close the topic about the weddings? I don't know if you need to make a motion and vote on it, on how we're going to just wrap up and solidify the wedding issue so that I know clearly what has been
Right.
defined.
I think we need to just not worry about the wedding issue, period. So I'd like to make a motion that we not concern ourselves with that with this form.
I second that.
Okay. So, as far as the form is concerned, I wish I could see this in paper.
What, the form?
Yeah,
Hold on, the new one, the electronic?
yeah,
Yeah, I
Are
have
you
it for
good?
you. Mhm.
okay,
So this is, can you still see my screen?
yeah, uh-huh,
Okay, so this is what the printed form would look like after I receive it. This is a
Mhm.
PDF that we can download after the form has been completed. And it has all of the fields that our existing form has. It's just typed out. So we have an option for a string of dates and or single dates that they can list.
mhm,
Contact name, all of the electrical requirements. And I'd like to show you the form as it exists on the website. So
yeah,
how a person would then initiate this form. So when people call me and say, how can I fill out this form? I'll point them to our website, which you see. Down here is the park event application. And then this is the form. And so they go through section by section to complete. The general information gives our opening information, obviously, which will change eventually with Nancy's upgrades. So that just gives them general information about obtaining the form. And then it asks about events, the details about their event. You can select a park. I obviously can add others. I just put the main ones in here.
right,
It asks for all of the questions, the times, how many they estimate. This, where it says example, that's just, it goes away when the person types in, you know, what
mhm,
they want. Their contact information, they fill in. And then any logistics about the event, such as electrical and traffic and restroom. And then at the end, it allows them to upload any files, insurance files, any files regarding any maps or signage. And then there is an online signature option here that we expect them to sign, and then they submit it.
mhm. I think it's great.
Christy, I just got one thing to add.
Yes,
In case if anybody wants to put anything in the ground post-wise or that because of electrical and or water lines we have in the park. I've seen the documentary put some signs up in the triangle and they missed our water lines, but I didn't, when you were going up earlier on this form right here,
yep.
maybe put something, do you plan to put a tent up or anything in the ground because of electrical? I don't know.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
my concern.
I'll talk to you offline just to get some verbiage around that. And then if it makes sense, I'll add that to the form that Nancy submitted with changes so that that can be a proposed change that we make to the form as well.
Okay,
That's my only concern on that.
Thank you. Sounds good. And I guess to clarify, would we allow them to do that with our assistance, or are we saying that they cannot do that at all?
They could call oops, but then with our assistance as well, yes.
Okay.
It just
There,
protects
there,
our,
there would be a protocol to follow in order to have that.
correct.
Okay.
what about irrigation, John? Do you want to mention, put that in it too?
Yeah, that's, whoops,
Because people are unaware of those sprinkler heads, and I mean, some of them are
that's
not
what
very
I
easy.
said. Electrical and irrigation.
Talking about, yeah.
I don't even like some posts in the ground. If they set up tents, a lot of them will use barrels with ropes with the water in them to hold them down.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
All right, so Christy, you'll make the changes. And so do we need to look at this one more time? Or is everybody okay with Christy just going ahead and making the changes? And then Nancy, you would have to present it to council.
Is this interactive online?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
It's just like Jaga Park Systems is exactly the same, very
Yeah.
similar.
yeah,
The form itself has not changed at all as far as the questions and answers. It's just the format in which it is submitted.
I'm not following you.
So I took our existing park form in its current format that was approved by the Parks Commission and Council.
It wasn't
And-
approved by council. That form was never approved by council.
The previous form, Nancy,
Yes.
the form that we currently use.
Yes,
Okay, so let me just go back. So regardless of the form in its current way that has been used since I started the job, that's the current form.
okay,
The current form has just been made electronic. So I've not made any verbiage changes. No changes to the existing form have been incorporated in this electronic form. No changes. It just the way that instead of sending them a PDF to handwrite and submit, they do it online. That's the only change.
Okay, so if
okay. but
Nancy, if Christie puts in your changes to this online form, then can we decide about it? Because I know that when we came up with the new form at the beginning of last year, that was when Debbie was still here and she had made some changes. And that was that. I don't think it ever went to council. We just changed it and that was that.
I certainly don't recall it coming to council. That's all I can tell you. Somebody can find it in the minutes that council approved it. That's fine with me, but I don't recall doing it. My question really was, is it interactive? Can somebody take this form, fill it out online and submit it that way without ever touching paper?
Yes,
That
that's
was
the
my
whole point. Yes, that is the whole point of having it available online is that, yes.
So
I
it's
will show you.
interactive. I can go in there and type in the answers and
Yeah, I'll show you. Yep.
press,
It's just like this. So I might say Riverside. And then I can select dates. This is 100% of what it is intended to be. Very
Okay.
clear and easy.
okay.
This is what the form looks like when it's being completed.
All right, that's fine. You
Yep.
you don't have, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
The form we'd been using was adopted on July 16th of 2019.
On council?
No, it was just the Parks Commission
Okay, that's
accepted it.
right, fine. That, yeah.
So why are you saying now that it has to be approved by council?
Then don't approve it by council. Ask council if it wants to approve it. I don't know, okay? But we can't say that it was approved by council if it wasn't, and the last one wasn't.
It wasn't.
That, okay, then
I guess
Then
I
then we
misspoke.
can't
I'll
say
take, I will take
can't say that it
responsibility
was.
for that. I
that's all I'm
misspoke.
saying. If council wants to approve it or not, it isn't up to, I'm, again, one vote on council.
Okay,
Nancy,
well,
could
there's
you
a
pose
council.
that question to council if, at the next meeting, that if they want to approve it or not? Can we just ask them?
We're gonna have a facilities meeting and we'll talk about it at the facilities meeting.
Ah,
Because
okay.
it's the facilities committee that this would go through. And we've been planning to meet on park rules, so.
Okay, so in the meantime, can Christie go ahead and add some of your changes? And then we can look at this again next month?
Sure, yes.
Okay,
Okay, is
I'll
that all
do
right
so.
with you, Christie?
yes, that's totally fine, sure.
Okay,
I am at your disposal, following your direction, so I will do what you asked me to.
okay, so Nancy will bring it up at facilities. You will make the changes. Nancy, if you could make it your business to look at the form online after Christie's had a chance
Sure,
to make the
I
changes.
definitely will, yeah.
And
Yeah.
Nancy, let me know if at the facilities, if you'd like me to present the form, much like I'm doing to you now, if that would be helpful, let me know. I can be there as well.
Okay, well, you would be there. if you
Well,
have
of
a-
course, but I'd like to prepare and know so I can have things prepared ahead of time.
Right,
Sure.
Okay, so let's handle it that way.
Okay.
And I'll put this on the agenda again for next month. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, that sounds
Sure.
great.
Okay, all right. Next month.
So I will update the form online with Nancy's changes and the change that John recommended. Once that change is completed, I will send a link out to all of you for review.
Okay,
Super.
thank you so much, Christy,
Sure.
and Nancy too. Okay. Can we go on to the next item then? Okay, the next item on the agenda concerns River Run Park. And I just want to say thank you to John because the playground area has been weeded. It looks so much better. I can see that the trees that are going to be moved away from the bocce ball court and another area have been identified with green tape so that are they going to be moved or just removed? You're muted.
I know, I was getting there. This is new. They are gonna be moved. We just met, Mark and I, and Chagrin Valley Watershed Partners and Davy Tree yesterday on this. She's gonna contact me mid-October to late October, and we're gonna move about 21 shrubs, trees, and a couple larger ones. So yes, they will be replanted.
Okay, great. Then regarding the dog park, I see you've put the lock on and that's great because people were really upset about people leaving that gate unlocked. And as far as the expansion of the park, is that something that's going to be in the spring or have you even had a chance to think about it?
I'm putting in the budget for next year to redo the fence at the dog park. And we will do upgrading of the surface as well at that time too. So depending on if it gets approved for the budget, then we'll make our upgrades.
Yeah, that's great. People that I've talked to about that are very much in favor of those ideas. It's a mess right now. I mean, you couldn't even take a dog there now.
We we did our changes on our end at the service garage. So now it's just to get equipment in there. Hopefully the budget passes for the upgrades. And I was going to go to a chain link fence as well and go a little higher because we had a few dogs that have jumped it and stuff. So
Yeah.
What will the surface upgrade be?
I wouldn't mind putting like gravel in there, but I don't know how people would react with that because of the dog's paws and stuff. It's hard to keep grass in where dogs are all the time.
Yeah.
And to get that addressed right, if it's going to stay grass, we'll have to bring in topsoil and that. So that's where we will do our upgrades when the old fence gets tore down, you know.
Is the salt in the service department going to be will it be staying in the same place as it is now?
No, we built a new bin and we moved it.
Okay,
So,
so it won't be leaching into there anymore.
right.
If you raise the level of it so it drains better, wouldn't that help too?
Like I said, we got some upgrades in mind. If we rip that fence down, we'd probably put doobie blocks along our property line. So even our bins that are built over there won't leach into the dog park in the upcoming years.
What are they called? Doobie blocks?
That's what we call them. They're bin blocks. Because we have our like extra stone storage over there.
Mhm.
The bin that was available for our extra salt, so we didn't have to pay storage fee. That was a bigger one, and that's where we put our extra salt.
Good.
And we didn't think that was going to happen.
It's always something.
Hmm.
Okay, well, thank you, John, for thinking about all that.
Sure.
The next thing is Riverside Park, and I'll tell you, we have a real problem there because there are some kids that are hanging out in the old skating shelter. I mentioned this last time, but they broke a picnic table bench, not in the skating shelter, but a couple tables away. They're still carving the table. They're leaving trash everywhere. I spent an hour Saturday morning and Sunday morning cleaning up Riverside Park, which included a broken booze bottle over in the mulched area by the swings. And I didn't even find it all that day. I found more Sunday morning. But they're drinking in the park. They have these little bottles that are called Fireball Cinnamon. And I have found them around the skating shelter. I've found them over by those pyramidal oaks near the Muni lot. I have emailed Amber about this, and there has been a police presence. And one time when I called, the policeman came to my door. It was Jason Fisher, and he said, well, it's not 11 o'clock yet. They're still allowed to be there. I can't see that they're doing anything wrong, but you can't see what they're doing because it's dark. And in the morning, you find all this mess. And the other day when I was over there cleaning up, that was Sunday,
Isn't that
found-
light come on by the shelter at night, Ann?
there's no light by the shelter. There's one, farther toward the river
No, it's
by
right right on the
but-
utility pole, right by the shelter there.
It's not by the shelter. It's farther over where the skating pond used to be. You can't see what they're doing in there. And Saturday night, they were setting paper on fire because I found all this ashy paper around. Maybe if they just burn it down, we won't have to worry about it anymore. But people use that shelter. I mean, Janine and Beth and I have used that to have beautification meetings when it's raining and we can't be in anybody's house. And I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I talked with Rob this morning about it, and Amber had suggested maybe putting in a camera, but that's going to get ruined right away, and that's expensive. And Rob said, who's going to monitor it anyway? So
We have a fake sign, not a fake sign, but we have a sign saying, watch by cameras, but we might install that. But still there again.
those
Man-made
kids are
ham-
smart, and they can climb up in the rafters there very easily.
Well, maybe you can catch them then, and that's destruction of village property, and the police can get them for that. It's a police issue is what it is. It's not our issue, it's a police issue. I mean, we can only do so much,
Right, and they have to actually catch them in the act, and they don't have the manpower for someone to be down there all the time. So does anybody have any ideas about how to address this? I mean, Rick Bauman and Janine and I cleaned up, I guess it was a Saturday, a couple weeks ago.
Did we, remember we talked about putting up a sign about a fine for littering? Would that,
Mhm.
I don't know if that would deter those kids at all because they are not getting caught anyway, but would that help at all? I don't know if that would help at all, if there was a sign about littering.
We put up a fake video camera yet or not?
No, we didn't do that yet, I don't think.
And it's
Yeah.
not just in the
What about
shelter,
park?
it's from one end of the park to the other. I found,
Hmm.
beverage containers, empty food bags. It's a mess. And Rob said, well, you shouldn't be cleaning that up, especially the glass. But I mean, people are there in the playground at 8 o'clock in the morning with their little kids. Do you want them
I know.
walking on glass? Well, I'll talk with Amber again, and we haven't met in person about that, but
Well, I'll go with you, Anne, to talk to her if you want.
Okay, thanks.
At least we can be a united front. That's something, there needs to be more police presence. I mean, this is a recurring, and probably when it gets cold, they'll go away, but who knows? You don't really know. And that still could be like 2 months. Yeah.
Is that what everybody thinks we should do, is just approach the police at this point?
I think the
think
police
that's
are
all you
aware
can
of
do.
it. I'm not sure that having a meeting with the police chief is, I mean, she's aware of it, and I trust her to do what she feels is appropriate. I mean, I don't know what you would do at a meeting or what you would tell her you expect her to do.
Well, maybe Anne, just as a private resident, and Janine could go to her, not as part of Parks
I mean,
Commission,
anybody can go and talk to her,
Yeah.
but
and just say, this is a recurring problem. I don't know.
Well, Rob seemed to think that the service department should be cleaning all that up. But when they come in the morning,
yeah, well,
it's
certainly.
7 o'clock, you can't see.
We have cleaned a lot of stuff up. Our weekend trash days, scheduled days are done for the year. So if we would do trash, it would probably be on a Sunday morning.
Mhm.
But the guys are instructed to look for this extra trash, and Mark has done it. A couple weeks ago, I know he did a double duty, a Saturday and a Sunday, and he did clean up a lot of that Fireball stuff and the broken glass, and had White Claws out there and all that. So it just, this is what we deal with day in and day out. It's nothing new for us.
Are
But
they doing things like that in other parts of the village?
no, we don't see it. I mean, at first it was down in Whitesburg, but it hasn't been down there for a
Mhm.
while. It just, who are the kids doing it? I don't know. It's,
I know one of them.
well, that's where you send an email to Amber and tell them who it is.
Yeah.
I think you'll get across more stuff through an email than a meeting to me, because we are all so busy with things. And you read an email and then you can address it after there.
Okay.
I mean, it's
All right.
until they're caught in the act, nothing's gonna happen. It's just like,
Exactly.
you can sit in your house and say everyone's speeding down the road. Well, until somebody is caught in the act,
Mhm.
I get it. It's part of your backyard and it's our park. But
Well,
it's-
it's not just my backyard. It's that, I mean, I care about the park and the people who want to use it the right way. It's just very frustrating.
it is. It's,
And I have to be careful about making myself known to these kids, because they could retaliate to my property too. And Janine's. Okay, well, we can end that discussion. I will stay tuned. I'll let you know next month.
Okay.
I did want to say the story walk has been a success. People love it. And so far it's stayed intact. There was one sign that was wrecked. And I talked to the fellow who was in charge of putting those in the park, and he fixed it. But they're also going to have a second book that is going to be laminated and put in merchants' windows.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so there'll be 2 different walks.
Good. Yeah, it was fun to walk through and see those. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's enjoying that, because they can't have story time at the library now. So
Right.
this is an alternative. The next thing on the agenda is the beautification committee has still not met to set up our cleanup dates, but we're going to meet on Monday. So John, we'll let you know when we think a cleanup date could be scheduled with the service department. And Mark sent me an email this morning saying, yes, he and you would like to meet with us about, various issues, so we'll set that up too. For miscellaneous, I think bar 3 has had one session. I heard them out there, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. I don't think they were there this Saturday because it was so cold. So I don't know. She's probably playing it by ear as far as the weather's concerned. And the Ghost Walk sponsored by the chamber went well. That was this past Saturday, and you could see groups of people going around to meet these different ghosts. And I don't know what happened with the Encore Chamber concert. Did anybody attend that? I wanted to, but I couldn't. So nobody knows how that went. I know that they were at the Hunt Club the night before, and I was supposed to be having my birthday dinner there. And then I had to change it because they were going to be there Thursday. So then I was at the club on Saturday or Friday. So I never did hear it, but everybody at the club said they all loved it. So I hope that was true here. It wasn't very well advertised in Chagrin. There were flyers around in some of the stores, and the hardware store had a flyer on their window. But I guess I'll have to talk to Clara Angan and see how she felt it went. I will do that. Does anybody have anything else? Nope. Okay,
No-
our
nobody-
next meeting, pardon me?
And
So there are no other applications to use the park? Nobody else wants to use the park for anything?
Not so far.
No, I haven't received any additional applications either.
what's happening with that October Fest? I guess that's not happening this year.
That was canceled.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
The next is the Ghost Walk, but that was approved. You guys are all set for there. So,
that was last Saturday, wasn't it?
oh, was it? Sorry. I just look in my folder.
I think so.
You're
And
right,
she
it was. Yep, you're right. It's done. So I have nothing on the horizon that I know of.
Probably getting too cold to actually have an event. To schedule.
And I
Well,
think COVID is stopping people from gathering, so it's kind of a non-issue at this point.
Didn't the J.C.'s used to have some sort of scarecrow thing too?
I think that's been canceled as well.
Yeah.
That was
And we
that.
haven't
That was
heard-
Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
That was part of it, wasn't
Yeah.
it, Greta?
Yeah. Part of
Yeah.
it, and the pumpkin painting and stuff.
Yeah.
Will the pumpkin roll be canceled? That's too many people together.
I doubt it.
There has been some discussion about it on the Village Block Facebook page, and who knows what to do about Halloween. I guess it's up to the individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the mayor sent out an email. Did that go on the website or something?
It
Chris?
went on the Village Block, yeah.
So
It was from all
the
the-
gist of the Halloween is that we are not canceling, but we are encouraging precautions such as mask wearing, no gatherings larger than 10 people. And we're strongly suggesting people just stay local in their own neighborhoods and not travel to other neighborhoods.
Right.
Todd, you're muted.
Yeah, right, that'll happen.
Well, the fire department isn't doing their thing, so.
And I think that mayor's statement, the one that I saw was several villages.
Right, it was all the surrounding mayors together.
Mayors making that statement.
Mhm.
So all the mayors are encouraging their residents. So, maybe we won't get, some areas of town, mine in particular, get a gigantic, enormous influx of people. you
Yeah.
know, hundreds of people coming through generally. So
Yeah. But don't you think that was partly because of the fire department
no,
event there too? No?
no.
I know you've always had a ton of people there.
I mean, people go to the fire department to the, you know, to the event that they have there, which a lot of people
Mhm.
really love. My kids always like that. But I don't think that that drew people to then go trick or treating around the neighborhood.
Mhm.
I think they just came trick or treating. Half of
Okay.
them were probably too small or too afraid to go to the fire department.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Fun fact, we counted one year and we had over 1,000 children.
Wow.
Yeah. It could come down, like if that happens again, I bet people just won't open their doors. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to know. But that could happen again, because if those kids are used to coming down to the village and there's no law against it, you know, whatever. And then individual homeowners can just make their decision what they want to do. Right.
Yeah.
Well, some people have talked about just putting out a table with candy and they can just take what they want, but hope that they'll just take one apiece, but who knows?
Happen.
That's not our problem.
Yeah. It's not.
Okay, the next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, November 4th at
Okay.
8:30. I assume it will be Zoom again.
That's the assumption moving forward. And Nancy, just let me know offline of any date you want me to schedule for a facilities meeting and I can get that set up also.
Okay, yes, thank you. Oh, I definitely will let you know.
Of course.
Yeah. Let me see. So that's the first Wednesday in November. Okay. Okay.
Are we set?
Nice meeting, folks.
Okay, I declare this meeting adjourned. See you
Bye,
next
everyone.
month.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Ann.